Questioner. Why do people run after material happiness? Anandamayi Ma. You know this happiness from experience, and hence your question. But God is gracious and makes you see that this so-called happiness is not happiness. He kindles discontent and anguish in you, which is due to the want of communion with the divine. Worldly happiness is derived from the countless manifestations of God. People talk and marvel about those who renounce the world, but in actual fact, it is you yourself who have renounced everything. What is this everything? God! Leaving Him aside, everyone is literally practicing supreme renunciation. It is only natural that a sense of want should awaken. Even in the midst of comforts and pleasures, one feels homesick in a foreign land. There is distress even in happiness. One's possessions are not really one's own. This is what He causes man to feel. It is said, is it not, that on being hit, one recovers one's senses. One learns by receiving blows. Questioner. Why should there be a veil so that one does not remember one's former lives? After the body dies, the mind continues. Also, one is able to remember what has happened today and yesterday. Why, therefore, should the events of one's past lives be forgotten in this world? Anandamayi Ma. Having entered the kingdom of forgetting, everything is forgotten. This world is the abode of non-remembrance. Question. Why should so very much be forgotten? A small portion might at least be remembered. Anandamayi Ma. You say, do you not, that the Lord Buddha talked about the events of 500 of his previous lives? Can you remember everything that you experienced in your present birth, from your childhood until now? You die at every instant without being aware of it. At present, you are neither an infant, nor a child, nor a youth. No sooner is a baby born than he starts of his own accord to drink his mother's milk. And when he has drunk, he feels happy and satisfied. By this, he has already given full testimony of former births. Now also, whenever your hunger has been appeased, you experience a similar sense of well-being and contentment as you did in your early childhood, although you do not recollect what you felt at that time. A yogi can perceive the impressions of a great number of past lives. One may see the events of thousands of one's former births, but when the realization has come of what creation with its ascending and descending currents in reality is, what will he see then? He will see and also not see, and neither will he not see nor see. Where everything that exists is revealed in its fullness, this is called self-revelation. That itself, the self-luminous one, call it what you will. Suppose you are able to visualize a few of your previous lives. Your vision is limited by number. If you recollect the history of your former births, it means that you know only the cause of your own individual lives in their own particular times and places, but you're not aware of your various movements and static states in the whole universe. You see the many. How will you go beyond this multiplicity? By finding yourself in the many. Who is that self? He and none but He. So long as He, the Self, has not been revealed, you are imprisoned within the boundary. Boundary means ignorance, and therefore there is forgetting. Question: surely one who has become established in the self will naturally forget the world? Anandamayi Ma: look, if there were no veil of ignorance for the individual, how could God's Lila or play be carried on? When acting a part, one must forget oneself. The play or Lila could not proceed without the covering veil of ignorance. Consequently, it is but natural that the veil should be there. So the world is the perception by the senses of what is projected. To be a separate individual means to be bound, and that which binds is the veil of ignorance. Here is the clue to the forgetting about which you asked. When you speak of previous births, you intuitively feel, was there ever a time when I was not? It is you who speak in terms of before and after, since you are confined within the realm of time. But really, there is no question of in time and out of time, nor of day and night, before and after. So long as one remains enslaved by time, there will be birth and death. Actually, there is no such thing as rebirth. Still, at some stage, the memory of previous lives will most certainly occur. But what is the significance of before and after, since I exist throughout eternity? All that exists anywhere in the world, be it trees, plants, insects, reptiles, or any other living thing, their birth is indeed your birth, and their death your death. On the level where everything is contained within you and you are present in everything, there is only the One, and He alone. Question: if someone advances along the path of Advaita, will he acquire vibhutis? Bracket, supernormal powers. If you speak of a sadhika who aspires to the state of unqualified oneness, then even if supernormal powers come to him, he will not accept them. Whereas the aspirant who worships God with form and attributes will accept whatever psychic or superpsychic powers are granted to him, regarding them as manifestations of the One. Such powers are bound to be developed in the course of sadhana, spiritual practice, since they represent the fruit of one's efforts. The word vibhuti signifies the various manifestation of the all-pervading vibhu. For this reason, it is only natural and certain that vibhutis, supernormal powers, should come. The aspirant must, however, take care not to be possessed by these powers, because his progress would then be arrested at that stage. Is grace, the questioner asked, without cause or reason? Anandamayi Ma: certainly, for grace is by its very nature beyond cause or reason. When working, one reaps the fruit of one's action. If, for instance, you serve your father and he, being pleased with your service, gives you a present, this will be called the fruit of action. One does something and receives something in return. But the eternal relationship that by nature exists between father and son does surely not depend on any action. The Supreme Father, Mother, and Friend, verily God is all of this. Consequently, how can there be a cause or reason for His grace? You are His, and in whatever way He may draw you to Him, it is for the sake of revealing Himself to you, the desire to find Him that awakens in man. Who has instilled it into you? Who is it that makes you work for its fulfillment? Thus, you should try to arrive at the understanding that everything originates from Him. Whatever power, whatever skill you possess, why, even yourself, from where does everything arise? And does it not all have for the purpose the finding of Him, the destroying of the veil of ignorance? Whatever exists has its origin in Him alone. Are you master even of a single breath? To whatever small degree He makes you feel that you have freedom of action, if you understand that this freedom has to be used to aspire after the realization of Him, it will be for your good. But if you regard yourself as the doer and God as being far away, and if owing to His apparent remoteness, you work for the gratification of your desires, it is wrong action. You should look upon all things as manifestations of Him. When you recognize the existence of God, He will reveal Himself to you as compassionate or gracious or merciful, in accordance with your attitude towards Him. When a sadhaka starts worshipping an image of his beloved, he will, in the course of his practice, attain to a condition in which the form of his beloved is beheld, wherever his eyes may fall. Next, he comes to realize, all other deities are contained in my beloved. He sees that everyone's Lord, in fact all things, are contained in his own Ishta, and that his Ishta also dwells in all deities. As indeed in everything, the sadhaka comes to feel, as my Lord resides within me, so He, who is present within everyone else, is truly the same Lord, in water and on land, in trees, shrubs, and creepers. Everywhere in the whole universe abides my beloved. Further, all the various forms and modes of being that we behold, are they not expressions of my beloved? For there is none save Him. He is smaller than the smallest, and greater than the greatest. Actuated by your various inborn tendencies, you each worship a different deity. The true progress in one's spiritual experience depends on the sincerity and intensity of one's aspiration. The measure of a person's spiritual advance will be reflected in the manifestations that are vouchsafed to him of his Ishta, who will by no means remain inaccessible or separate from his devotee, but let himself be contacted in an infinite variety of ways. Conditioned though you be, you will find all within you, and on the other hand, be able to grasp that your own innate tendencies are also part of this all. What has been said here represents one point of view. You cannot dissociate yourself from the whole. The multifarious kinds of beasts, birds, men, and so forth, what are they all? What are these varieties of shapes, of modes of being? What is the essence within them? What really are these ever-changing forms? Gradually, slowly, because you are wrapped in the contemplation of your beloved, He becomes revealed to you in every one of them. Not even a grain of sand is excluded. You realize that water, earth, plants, Animals, birds, human beings are nothing but forms of your beloved. Some experience it in this manner. Realization does not come to everyone in the same way. There are infinite possibilities. Consequently, the specific path along which, for any particular person, the universal will reveal itself in its boundlessness, remains concealed from the average individual. What you have read in the Srimad Bhagavata about the universal body of the Lord, which comprises all things, trees, flowers, leaves, hills, mountains, rivers, oceans, and so forth. A time will come, must come, when one actually perceives this all-pervading universal form of the One. The variety of his shapes and guises is infinite, uncountable, without end. He who is multi-shaped, who constantly creates and destroys these his forms, he is the one whom I adore. To the degree that you grow in the ever fuller and wider recognition of this truth, you will realize your oneness with each of these numberless forms. In this connection, it must be said that if one wants to find truth, everything will have to be realized as it is in its own place, without choosing one thing rather than another. It is a kingdom without end, in which even what is discerned as non-existence is equally an expression of the One. In the purely spiritual world, all forms, whatever they be, are ever eternal. Therefore, simultaneously and in the same place, there is non-existence as well as existence, and also neither non-existence nor existence, and more of the kind. If you can proceed further, look at the ever-changing world, where what exists at one moment is non-existent the next, where being is continually entering into non-being. Who then is this non-being? Even the non-existent exists. Very well, just as ice is nothing but water, so the beloved is without form, without quality, and the question of manifestation does not arise. When this is realized, one has realized oneself. For to find the beloved is to find myself, to discover that God is my very own, wholly identical with myself, my innermost self, the self of myself. Then, according to the exigence of time and circumstance, various possibilities may take effect, as for example, the revelation of mantras and even of the entire Vedas by the ancient rishis or yogis who were seers of mantras. All these will occur in consonance with the individual karma and inner disposition of the person concerned.